It's time to go over my top 10 quarterbacks for week 5. We're diving right in here at number 10. I'm going to say Caleb Williams going against this Panthers defense right now. I think this could be absolutely phenomenal for Caleb. I think he just needs a game like this to kind of get out from everybody else and kind of do his own thing. I think he's just forcing some things a little bit too much. He's making some mistakes. He's not doing what everybody thought he was going to be doing. There's a lot put on his shoulders right now. He needs to sit back, take a deep breath, and just let the thing sling like I know he can do. I just think this week could be what the doctor just ordered. Caleb Williams this week going against a Panthers defense that ranks 24th against opposing quarterbacks. Like I said before, I can see Caleb Williams having a coming out party this week. I don't think the Panthers are good enough on defense to really slow down Caleb Williams and the style that he likes to just sling the ball. You know, with Keenan Allen coming back, you know, they've got a lot of weapons here. And you had a good game from DeAndre Swift. Maybe he can take a little bit of the load off of Caleb Williams as well. I just think this week right now, it's setting up for a recipe for success. If you drafted Caleb Williams and he was your number 1 quarterback, and you're really hoping for him to do something, this is the week that you have to put Caleb Williams in. Yes, he is in my top 10 quarterbacks, and yes, I think he's going to have a top 10 performance in week 5. Coming in at number 9, another guy may surprise you. I'm saying Trevor Lawrence. This is a quarterback who's done absolutely nothing for fantasy football this year. He's just not doing what everybody had his expectations for. Even drafted a nice wide receiver like Brian Thomas Jr., he should have something. He's still got Christian Kirk there. I know he's missing Evan Ingram, where he may have Evan Ingram back this week. I just think it's going to be, he's hurting right now. He's hurting because he doesn't have a safety blanket. I think getting back Evan Ingram this week, also going against a Colts defense that ranks 30th against opposing quarterbacks, I have to ask my question. This has to be the week, right? I mean, it has to be the week. Going back to square one. Having his Evan Ingram there, having a safety blanket, having all these players around him, nice. You got Tank Bigsby coming into his own as well, and a defense that can't stop anybody, right? So I think that this could be, again, just like I was talking about Caleb Williams, could be just what the doctor ordered for Trevor Lawrence to kind of kickstart his season a little bit and give fantasy owners a lot of things to look forward to going against a Colts defense that really is struggling a lot. And I think Trevor Lawrence can come here with the weapons that he has and have himself a good fantasy season. I have Trevor Lawrence as my number 9 quarterback. I'm pretty sure I may be the only content creator on YouTube with Trevor Lawrence in my top 10. I am bold enough to do it. I think he has a good week this week. Set it and forget it. Make sure you come back down into the comments and let me know that I was right whenever he does go off. Move right along here. At number 8, we're going Geno Smith. We saw what Geno was able to do just last week, right? He was able to go out there against the Lions and just sling the ball all over the field. He was pinpoint targeting. A lot on DK Metcalf, but he had some. You know, he's got Tyler Lockett there and Jackson Smith and Jigba. Even threw a little bit to Bobo. We saw Noah Fant getting to the work. We saw a lot of things happen. I still like him again this week. He's going against a Giants defense that ranks 13th against opposing quarterbacks. He's just locked into throwing with his trio of wide receivers that he has. And I'm telling you guys, it's going to get better and better and better. I don't know what happened to the Geno Smith when he first got drafted. I just think the Jets are absolute cock-a-doodle. They don't know how to develop anybody over there at the quarterback position. Even Sam Darnold, all these guys, they just done these guys a little on the dirty side. But Geno Smith is really coming into his own and becoming a really good fantasy football quarterback. He's learned a lot from his time in the NFL, and he's really showing it now with all these plethora of wide receivers going against this Giants team. They may or may not be missing Malik Neighbors. He had that concussion. I think he'll be good to go for this week, but even though I think it's going to be something, they're going to be able to ram it down the Giants' throat and have a lot of fantasy points coming through Geno Smith. I definitely have to have him in my top 10. Now coming here at number 7, I'm going to say CJ Stroud. This is one of those games that I see CJ Stroud really needing to step up in, not because he wants to do well, but because his wide receivers, one in particular, wants him to do well. This week, taking on the Bills defense that ranks 11th against opposing quarterbacks. He's going to have to, he's going to have a lot of pressure from Stephon Diggs. That's just how it's going to be. Stephon Diggs is going to be on this dude like white on rice and say, hey, get me the football. I want to prove to the Bills that I am the man. I would put anything on anything that Stephon Diggs has a blow-up game this week. And because he has a blow-up game, I think CJ Stroud's going to have a good game in himself. He's also got wide receivers like Nico Collins and Tank Dell there as well. He's got a lot of weapons to really get him and produce in fantasy football for you. He's easily a top 10 quarterback for me. I think he's a set and forget it. Rock it out. Should be a really good game against a tough Buffalo Bills team. Move it right along here. At number 6, we're going Brock Purdy. This is going to be a quarterback that goes, he's finally got a lot of his weapons back, right? He's able to do a lot of things for fantasy football for you. He's kind of like one of those late round darlings that you don't have to spend a high draft pick for, but he's always consistently like in the top 10 or near the top 10 in fantasy points each and every week. I like what Brock Purdy can give you. This week, he's taking on a Cardinals defense that ranks 29th against opposing quarterbacks. Like I said, he's going to have all of his targets and all of his weapons with him. You know, it's going to be a very, very fun game, right? He just doesn't have Christian McCaffrey, but he could be very close to coming back as well. But with Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, he's got this plethora of weapons out there to be able to sling the ball all the field against the Cardinals defense that I really don't think is going to be able to stop this offense quite a bit. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Brock Purdy can do. Easily have him in here as a top 6 quarterback in week 5. I'm excited to see what Brock Purdy delivers for you and your fantasy team. Let's move right along into the top 5. At number 5, we're going to go Kyler Murray. Same game here that we talked about with Brock Purdy, but against this 49ers defense, it's going to be a little bit more of a tougher matchup. But I think I had to rate Kyler Murray a little bit above Brock Purdy just based on his rushing ability alone. Like I said, Kyler Murray taking on the 49ers defense that ranks 9th against opposing quarterbacks. And he's going to need a big game in order for this game to stay competitive. So he's going to have to go back and forth with Brock Purdy in this offense. And he can do it. Marvin Harrison Jr. is starting to come into his own. He's starting to kind of catch the football more, being a little bit more comfortable. I know he's still a rookie, but he has a lot to learn. So Kyler Murray is taking his time with him. I think he's going to get Trey McBride back. He was in that concussion protocol as well. He should be back. There should be all of his weapons ready to go. Kyler Murray should get you a good amount of yardage on the ground, and he should get you a lot through the air. Should be plenty enough fantasy relevance to make him a top 5 fantasy quarterback for you in week 5. Move right along. Number 4, I'm going Jaden Daniels. This dude is really starting to impress me quite a bit. I was telling you guys when I was doing my rookie layouts, Jaden Daniels was my number 1 quarterback going into the NFL draft, and that still stands pat today. His rushing ability, he's starting to get his deep ball down. You know, he missed a couple shots here or there, especially to Terry McLaurin, but he's starting to get that accuracy down. I think he's getting more comfortable into his skin. The Commanders, if they can just get a defense with these guys, I think they could be a force to be reckoned with. This week, Jaden Daniels takes on a Browns defense that ranks 7th against opposing quarterbacks. He's going to have a tough test this week, but I think that he's going to prove that he belongs in the NFL. I don't think the offense of the Browns is going to be able to keep up quite a bit, even though they're going against a terrible Washington Commanders defense. I think it's going to be a lot of play time for Jaden Daniels to be able to go out there and put up plenty of fantasy points. I think the Browns, even though they have a really good defense, I think they're going to struggle against a mobile quarterback like Jaden Daniels this week. I really like him. Had to put him in here at my top 4 here. So move right along here at number 3. We're going Jordan Love, and boy, did he really step up coming back from the MCL sprain last week. He started out a little bit slow. You saw his knee was kind of bothering him just a little bit, but he really picked up steam towards the end of the day. Started throwing all over the field. Almost racked up 400 yards passing last week, but this week he gets to take on a Rams defense that ranks 28th against opposing quarterbacks. Like I said, almost 400 passing yards last week. Absolute bananas. Now going against this Rams team that can't do anything against the quarterback, he's going to have an absolute field day. Even though Christian Watson is no longer going to be there due to injury, he's got a plethora of weapons, whether it's Jaden Reed, Romeo Dubes, Dontavius Wicks, Tucker Kraft. He's got a lot of guys out there to catch the football. Josh Jacobs in the backfield. So he should have a glorious day against the Rams. Should do whatever he wants, set it and forget it. Get this guy in your lineup. Coming here at number 2, I'm going Josh Allen. Josh Allen's going to be really motivated this week to put up a lot of fantasy points. Not only he can do a lot of things on the ground, he can also do it through the air. He's got a plethora of wide receivers. Don't really have a go-to guy per se to go to, but that kind of makes it a little bit easier for Josh Allen because none of the defense can't really hone in on one certain player. They don't know who to really guard, whether it's Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, Curtis Samuel. There's a lot of players out there to throw the football to. I think Josh Allen has a great week this week, taking on a Texans defense that ranks 26th against opposing quarterbacks. And it's time to show out with Stephon Diggs on the other side. He's already came out, opened his mouth about having all these guys that aren't really worried about the stats. They just want to win. And that was a direct target to Stephon Diggs. This is going to be back and forth. Stephon Diggs is going to go at CJ Stroud saying, I want the football. And on the flip side, Josh Allen's like, I want the football as well. And he's going to run it. He's going to pass it. He's going to show, I don't need you, Stephon Diggs. This should be a massive game for Josh Allen. I like what I see there. And coming in here at number 1, we got to go Lamar Jackson, right? This is a guy who can get you up so many points. He's absolutely electric, and they're starting to build up steam. Started out a little slow with kind of a new offense, right, with Derrick Henry in the backfield, but we start seeing things are churning now, and this offense is starting to pick up on all cylinders. They've already got a great defense over there. Now the offense is kind of coming together. I love it. They're taking on right now a Bengals defense that ranks 19th against opposing quarterbacks. You're starting to pick up that steam, right? They have a high scoring game against the Bengals is what I am predicting here. I think Joe Burrow's going to be able to kind of go back and forth. I think against these guys is going to make Lamar Jackson use his feet a lot this week. He should be mobile. He should be more active. Clearly my number 1 quarterback for this week. If you have him, set it and forget it. You're excited that you have him going on this week against the Bengals in week 5. Guys, make sure you are hitting the like button, hit the subscribe button. That is my top 10 quarterbacks for week 5. I can't wait to see you guys holding up those trophies and winning those championships. We're trying to give you the best lineups each and every week. That way it best sets you up for success. Make sure you guys leave a comment down below. Who do you guys think about Caleb Williams and Trevor Lawrence being in my top 10? I'm curious to see what you guys think about that. I can't wait to see you guys on the next video. We'll see you guys next time.